en todo momento las instrucciones y permanezcan en calma. Gracias.
Found footage horror movies have been a staple of the horror genre since the release of the Blair Witch Project back in 1999. That low-budget film not only became a box office smash, but also launched a new genre in horror. The found footage style of filmmaking, where the footage is presented as if it were found after the fact, has become incredibly popular due to its ability to make the audience feel like they are part of the story. However, the genre has become oversaturated with cheaply made films that seem to be more interested in making a quick profit than delivering quality scares. While the success of the Blair Witch Project inspired many filmmakers to try their hand at the genre, not all of them have succeeded. One of the biggest problems with the found footage genre is that it's relatively easy to make a film in this style. With modern technology, anyone with a camera and an idea can produce a found footage movie. Unfortunately, this has led to a lot of low quality films that lack the creativity and storytelling that made the Blair Witch Project so successful. Despite the saturation of the genre, there are still some found footage films that stand out as great examples of the genre. One such film is the 2007 movie Wreck, a Spanish horror movie that follows a reporter and her cameraman as they cover a story about a virus outbreak in an apartment building. The film is shot entirely from the perspective of the camera, and the sense of immersion is intense. The tension builds slowly as the reporter and her cameraman uncover the horrifying truth about the virus, and the final act is one of the most terrifying sequences ever put to film. So in conclusion, while the found footage horror genre may have become oversaturated with cheap cash grabs, there are still some films like Wreck that manage to stand out due to their quality storytelling and effective scares. Part of what makes found footage movies so appealing is their authenticity. Rather than presenting the audience with a polished and edited film, found footage movies aim to make the audience feel as though they are watching something that is real and unfiltered. And this is especially evident in the movie Wreck. There are many instances throughout the movie where you can feel the authenticity. For example, there are a ton of characters throughout the film that feel uncomfortable being recorded, which is completely understandable as most people don't live their lives with a camera on them at all times. So when the people notice that the camera is constantly in their face, some of them act bizarre, some of them don't know how to act, which adds to the overall awkwardness of the situation. Another instance where the authenticity of this film is emphasized is when Angela asks the cameraman to do a retake after she says alarm instead of siren.
¿No ponéis ¿cómo se llama? ¿La alarma?
No lo ponemos porque no hay mucha urgencia.
No debería repetir, he dicho alarma, no he dicho sirena. ¿No? Bueno, se ha entendido, alarma.
This moment highlights the fact that the characters in the movie are not actors playing a role, but are instead real people trying to make a documentary. This type of mistake is something that could happen in real life, and it adds to the sense of authenticity that the movie is trying to convey, whereas a different movie would just simply edit this out. Other examples of this in the movie would include Angela's request for the fireman she is interviewing to switch places with her due to her hair, and when she asked the child's mother to not interrupt her during the interview and that she could interview her separately, are examples of how the film shows the unscripted nature of documentary filmmaking. These instances add to the authenticity of the film by highlighting the fact that these are real people in real situations. In conclusion, the authenticity of found footage movies is what makes them stand out from traditional horror films. The use of real people in real situation creates an immersive experience for the audience, and this is particularly evident in the movie Wreck. The instances where the authenticity of the film is emphasized, such as characters feeling uncomfortable being recorded, and the unscripted moments, add to the sense of realism that the movie is trying to convey. It is these authentic moments that make found footage movies such a unique and appealing genre in the world of horror filmmaking. Wreck, the Spanish horror movie, took a page out of the Blair Witch Project playbook in the terms of creating an unforgettable finale that leaves a lasting impression on the viewer. Just like the Blair Witch Project, Rec builds the tension slowly over the course of the movie, and it is the final 10 minutes that truly make the movie horrifying. Throughout the movie, the audience is taken on a journey with Angela Vidal, the reporter, and her cameraman as they investigate a virus outbreak in an apartment building. As they venture deeper into the building, they encounter increasingly terrifying situations, but the final 10 minutes are the climax of the film and are what truly make the movie a horror masterpiece. The finale of Rec is intense, visceral, and terrifying. Angela and her cameraman are forced to confront the source of the virus outbreak, which turns out to be a possessed little girl. The final 10 minutes of the movie are shot entirely in night vision, adding to the sense of disorientation and claustrophobia that the audience experiences. The tension builds to an almost unbearable level, and the viewer is left on the edge of their seat, waiting to see what will happen next. The final 10 minutes of Rec are what truly make the movie a classic in the horror genre. The use of night vision adds to the sense of realism and immerses the audience in the experience. The terrifying climax of the film is executed perfectly, leaving the viewer with a sense of dread that will stay with them long after the movie has ended. In summary, Rec took a page out of the Blair Witch Project playbook by building the tension slowly and using the final 10 minutes of the movie to deliver a terrifying climax that leaves a lasting impression on the viewer. The use of night vision, the sense of claustrophobia, and the intense level of tension all come together to make the finale of Rec truly horrifying. It is this level of quality filmmaking that has helped Rec become one of the most beloved found footage horror movies of all time. One of the reasons why Rec is such an enjoyable movie is because of its short runtime. The movie runs for only 78 minutes, but in that short amount of time, it manages to pack a lot of content. This is because every scene serves a purpose in progressing the story, and there is no wasted time or filler. The short runtime of Rec helps to keep the audience engaged and invested in the story. There is no time for the audience to get bored or disinterested, as the movie moves at a brisk pace, with every scene serving a purpose. This also means that the filmmakers had to be very deliberate in their choices, ensuring that every scene was necessary to the story. Furthermore, the lack of filler in Rec means that every moment is filled with tension and suspense. There is no time for the audience to relax or catch their breath, as the movie constantly keeps them on edge. The short runtime also means that the movie does not overstay its welcome, leaving the audience satisfied with the conclusion. In a nutshell, the short runtime of Rec is one of the reasons why it is such an enjoyable movie. The lack of filler means that every scene serves a purpose in progressing the story, and the brisk pace keeps the audience engaged and invested in the movie. The absence of downtime also ensures that the movie is filled with tension and suspense, leaving the audience on edge until the very end. Found footage movies have a considerable challenge in that they need a good excuse to continue filming and recording the situation instead of turning off the camera. After all, if you're in a life-threatening situation, the last thing you would be thinking about is filming the damn thing. However, some found footage movies have found creative ways to justify the continuous recording, and Rec is an excellent example of this. In Rec, the justification for continuous recording is that Angela Vidal, the reporter, wants to capture the events inside the building on tape to create a big story. At the beginning of the movie, Angela and her cameraman are covering a routine story about firefighters. And the funny part is she's kinda over covering all the boring, mundane, routine stuff and actually wants a call to happen just to see a little bit more action. And sure enough, they stumble upon an unexpected and chaotic situation when they are called to an apartment building where the tenants are being quarantined by the government. The people inside the building feel as if they are being mistreated, and catching this on tape could be the perfect evidence and perfect story for this reporter. This provides the perfect excuse for the continuous recording throughout the movie. Additionally, the fact that Angela and her cameraman are professional reporter adds an extra layer of authenticity to the found footage format, making it easier for the audience to suspend their disbelief. And by having a valid reason for continuous recording, Rec overcomes one of the biggest challenges of the found footage genre. The justification for the continuous recording not only adds to the realism of the movie, but it also allows the filmmakers to create tension and suspense throughout the film, as the audience is left wondering what will happen next. In conclusion, Rec is technically a perfect found footage movie because it hits all four aspects that you need: Authenticity, short runtime that gets to the point and has no wasted time, a terrifying ending that is impactful and memorable, and a believable excuse for the continuous recording. So that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a thumbs up and comment down below, is Rec one of your favorite found footage movies, and what are some of the other found footage movies that you think are some of the scariest? And as always, subscribe if you're not already, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.